Hi, my name's Kaylee Tamira, and my goal for this project was to create a resource of data collection tools for people and service providers and teachers and anyone really involved in implementing assistive technology in schools. I want to talk about the role of data collection when you're implementing assistive technology with students. So as a team, you want to really collaborate. That's really key here. And you want to clearly define the responsibilities for each team member and what they're supposed to be doing. Underneath that, specifically, you want to assign who is collecting what data, when, how often, so everyone knows exactly what they're supposed to do. And we want to make sure that we're collecting the data on different aspects of the student achievement and their performance. So we want a variety of data. And we want to make sure that the assistive technology is helping the student progress towards their IEP goals and masteries. We also want to make sure that we're collecting data on whether or not the assistive technology is enhancing the student's participation, enhancing their independence, and essentially whatever the goal of the assistive technology is. We want to make sure we're collecting data in multiple environments, whether that's different classrooms, a home environment, maybe it's lunchtime, a less structured environment during the school day. We want to use a variety of data collection methods, observation, something more specific and measurable, like maybe it's supposed to help them with math and we're looking at how many math problems they're getting correct now with this new assistive technology. So we want to make sure that it's also objective and it's not being swayed by anyone's bias or opinions. The data is really important because it's going to guide the team's decision making when deciding, and maybe this is during a trial period, deciding if this assistive technology is really effective and best for the student. And we need to keep a schedule of data collection. This kind of goes back to the roles and responsibility assigned for the team members to keep everyone on task and on top of everything. So now I want to talk about some areas that we can collect data when implementing assistive technology. So we want to look at if the assistive technology is supposed to help students accomplish tasks, we want to look at making sure we're collecting data in that area. We want to look at how it's being used, whether it is being used or not, if the student's using it or not, and taking a liking to it. So that kind of goes into student preference and their satisfaction, if they feel like this is helping them as well, if it's easy for them to use, and if they enjoy using it, and then that they see it's helping them. We want to look at student productivity, if it's supposed to, help them, if it's maybe it reads aloud text from their books. Maybe we want to look at their reading their texts and different assignments faster for them rather than as slow as maybe they're a really slow reader. It takes them a long time. So we want to look at student productivity going up. We want to look at student participation as well, going up, whether it's in the classroom or participating in other activities. We want to make sure we're collecting data in that area if that's the goal of the assistive technology. A lot of assistive technology helps promote student independence, so we want to make sure that the assistive technology is doing just that. So we need data in that area as well. Some assistive technology is used to improve the quality or accuracy of work or the student's performance. So maybe it's a writing tool that helps with spell check and such. So you want to look at students' accuracy and spelling should be increasing and improving through the assistive technology. And then speed of performance as well. Some tests may take students long times. That's why we need the assistive technology. So we want to make sure that they are completing this faster than without the assistive technology. Now I'm going to get into some forms that I've researched and tried to collect a variety of data collection forms for when implementing assistive technology so that you kind of have something to take away, whether you're a teacher, service provider, etc., to use with the students you are implementing assistive technology with. So these first ones are kind of general ones, and on all the forms I've either include the link and what page to find it on from the resource, or if you click on the picture, there's the link there as well. So when I share this presentation with you, you'll be able to go directly to the data collection forms. So I want to take a look at some general ones that a variety of professionals can use. So this one's about latency of response. So we're looking at maybe it's an AAC device or some type of switch or something, and it's collecting, looking at what the stimulus is, how long it takes the student to respond, how many prompts needed. So you can use that in a lot of environments by a lot of professionals. And same here with this one, assistive technology data implementation data collection. So it's very general. It has the time, the activity they're doing, what choices they're given. There's even codes for different levels of prompts and what the student chose. So another general one is kind of during a trial use. So they have what assistive technology is being trialed, the dates, if the criteria was met that it's supposed to, and then it allows for more observation anecdotal recording for comments and such. And then another one we have here is has the date, the time, who it's being collected from. So that's also something important to note if you are keeping track of who is collecting the data, what strategy, technology, or what they were using, the results that it had on the student performance, and maybe perception from the student or bias. So that kind of gets some of the student input there, which is a great thing to include as well. And then another one I have here is more looking at the trials, and you would put the goal up top so everyone knows exactly what they're supposed to be collecting. This one's more pretty open. You can put, quantitative data in there, qualitative, anecdotal, so it's pretty open, and you could kind of modify that one as well very easily. So then I found some forms that will actually compare assistive technology products that are being used. So maybe you're trialing two products and trying to see which technology benefits the student more. So the first one has the columns for the two tools, and this one's looking more at their work accuracy. So how many they got correct, maybe it's math problems, and then allows for some anecdotal notes as well. And then the other one looks more specifically at AAC and different communication devices. There's a picture board, Voca and voice, and it goes through each day of the week and kind of some comments as well. And then I have some here that are more mainly observation or anecdotal data collection forms, so it's pretty open to what is being observed by the student or from the student. So then I looked at some specific service providers, so they have some effective data collection forms as well. So the first one is speech language pathologist, and there are tons of data collection forms for different AAC devices and all sorts of things that are more in the speech realm. So I've included some here as examples. So the first one is a voice output device activation. So it's looking at, what the phrase is, how many opportunities, how many they did it correct, and kind of that percent correct as well. And then we're looking at vocabulary use, the phrase they use, and whether it was accurate or not, if you're trying to increase that speech. And then you're looking at a communication device or picture system you could use, so the symbol that's used by the student or required to be used, and how many prompts you had to give them, and other notes. And then the middle one is definitely for AAC device, more of a tally, and it also has if the student vocalizes it as well and repeats it. So that's interesting to maybe you're looking at comparing the student vocalizing versus their AAC device. And then the last one is kind of more training on object photo associations, maybe something like PECS you're looking at. So you start with an object, and then you start to associate with the photo, and then using that icon or symbol, and then eventually if they have that association between the picture and what it is of. So here's some more for speech. This one breaks down a lot of switches or AAC devices and even gives the location, what their task is, maybe if they're in a wheelchair, they're in a stander, or maybe at this time they're on the floor. So it gives a lot of environmental factors, lighting, the smell, the noise, the room temperature, different distractions, how the students, emotions, the process time. So a lot of good information if you're looking at outside environmental factors to affect the assistive technology use and effectiveness. And then the next one is trialing another device and formulating the message. It kind of has some check boxes there for if what was used for the message and that was produced in the proficiency. So then some of the other service providers, there was a little bit difficult finding some assistive technology implementation data collection forms. So I'll get into that a little bit. So here's one for maybe a physical therapist would use this for a switch, but it could also be for a speech language pathologist. It could be for many different service providers, but it's looking at a switch. And then I found some, for vision as well. These were different things on a computer, the Chrome commands, if they're able to use those, iOS voice control commands, Microsoft keyboard commands, if there's some vision difficulties. So then, as I said, it was a little bit difficult to find some for other service providers that were specific data collection forms. So they can use these general forms that I showed at the beginning and maybe just modify them a little bit to fit their needs. Or maybe, a student's trialing an AAC device, so maybe this speech language pathologist is providing that service provider with a specific data collection form that they want them to use during their time with them. So you can also get it from whoever is implementing that device. And then I looked at some for more maybe an intervention specialist or a general education teacher. So these ones have to do with a lot of writing more. So the first one's writing speed and accuracy. I didn't realize I had that in there twice. So you're looking at the number of errors and words and how long it took them to complete. And then the other one here is word prediction software, if the student's using that as well. What kind of assignment it is, the software they're using, different things like that, the independence level. And then here are some a general education teacher might be using it as well. If the student initiated communication on different days in their class. And also they might use performance, looking at performance data, maybe the number of math problems they got correct, if they completed the assignment each day, and different things like that. And then I took a look at some different apps that you can use. Maybe at your school you have an iPad or your phone or whatever device you may be using. Maybe you like to use an app and make it more digital. So here's a couple different options for you to explore, one that works best for you. Or you could just be old school and like the paper, but if you're into more of the electronic, this is a great route to look, and there's a lot more out there than just these few. But some of these are more specific for education, and some of them are more general data collection, so you might have to tweak what you've created a little bit more in the actual app, but definitely something to play around with, and it might increase or make it easier for you or more efficient to collect that data if you're pretty tech savvy and into using the apps and stuff. And then I just have my references at the end, but I hope that you can take away from this some either forms or some ideas on how to better collect your data or more efficiently and effectively collect your data when you're implementing assistive technology devices with students. Thank you.